depending on where you're at in the world, you could have a Tesla built in China. It could be built in Germany. It could also be built here in the United States. But would you be interested in buying a Tesla if it were from Mexico? Let's get into it. Tesla factory plans for Mexico are firming up. If you're new to the channel, my name's Kirk. Kirky Cars is dedicated to electrified industry news. Make sure to stay tuned. I have a lot of vehicles coming from especially the Germans in the near future. I've been also talking to Ford as well as Stellantis for their electrified options. So stay tuned for all of that. And where is this going to be? This new plant is said to be announced early next year in the Nuevo Leon state. So if we go to Google Maps here, and we go down to Mexico, here's Nuevo Leon. So it is home of where Monterrey is, a huge city. And then we also have it as a, here's like Colombia, Mexico, which is a border town. And you can drive straight into the United States from here. There's San Antonio, where the, here's a little marker for the truck plant for Toyota. But in Austin, Texas, of course, is Gigafactory, where they build the Model Y and upcoming Tesla vehicles like the Cybertruck. If we go north here, you see this little square here. This is where the new battery plant for Panasonic is going to be. So I guess they could, ship all those batteries down to San Antonio, well, Austin, Texas, and then also down to Monterey area for this new plant. Already existing in that area is Kia and General Motors with their assembly plants. In October, Musk was spotted with the Nuevo Leon officials at an event in Monterrey. Other Tesla news. Tesla says Texas factory is making 3,000 Model Ys a week. That's over 150,000 per year. The milestone comes a week after CEO Musk asked the head of company's China division to get the Austin factory up to speed. But even though 156,000 vehicles is kind of the yearly estimate at that production rate, the annual target of 250,000 the company promoted in its third quarter is still a long shot. Next article, Ford and CATL. CATL is the largest. If we just look at this image here, CATL is the largest battery maker in China. It's therefore the largest battery maker in the world. I believe BYD is number 2. And then you might have the Koreans, Panasonic, kind of falling in line after that. Ford would own the plant, including the building infrastructure, while CATL would operate the factory and own the technology to build the cells. I think that's incredibly smart, and I'm really excited to see what kind of LFP, because apparently these are all LFP batteries that would be produced in that plant. And this would be in Michigan, go figure, kind of like headquarters for the big three. Now, Virginia is also being considered for this new battery plant as well. Interestingly, the Chinese government has discouraged CATL from investing in the US due to tensions with Beijing's top geopolitical rival. So stay tuned. We'll see if this thing comes to fruition, but more than likely it will. Gosh, automotive news just continues to give us so many EV articles this morning. Redwood Materials plans massive $3.5 billion EV battery materials plant in South Carolina. And this would, of course, repurpose and remanufacture lithium, cobalt, nickel, and other battery materials, creating about 1,500 jobs. So much more news we got to talk about. Toyota, Denso, IBM corporate to boost Japan's chip competitiveness. So they're going to be working on 2 nanometer microchips. What's pretty interesting, also Sony's in this group. Sony's working with Honda to build EVs by 2026. But it looks like the Japanese companies, automakers, are going to be working closer together than ever to make sure that they are protected when crap hits the fan with the supply chain disruptions, especially out of China. So they're trying to figure out how to make this Rapidus Corp make these chips as soon as possible to make their vehicles cutting edge without being hamstrung by China and their potential lockdowns and whatnot. So moving on, China's BYD enters luxury EV market with SUV priced to up to $200,000. Now, BYD hasn't made announcements that I know of to make landfall here in the United States with their mainstream, or let's say passenger vehicles. They already sell electric buses here and have other business in America. But as far as electric vehicles go, BYD still is not interested, at least as far as I'm aware, of bringing these vehicles stateside. So this vehicle would be over $100,000 to over $200,000. Svolt Energy unveils Dragon Armor battery That sounds badass. Capable of giving EVs up to 1,000 kilometers of range. Now, the Dragon Armor battery can be made of different chemistries. So the 1,000 kilometers of range is with the NMC batteries using the more traditional nickel and cobalt. But you can also put LFP in here, and they're saying with standard LFP, you can get 800 kilometers. And with the high manganese LFP, you can get over 900 kilometers, which is just insane. So 800 kilometers in the Chinese cycle would probably be over 400 miles of EPA range. Sounds too good to be true. Probably is. I'm sure these numbers are a little, they're there to promote the company. So I'm always a little skeptical when I see these numbers. These batteries are going to be in an SUV and a coupe. So they don't make their own vehicles. Svolt, they kind of give these battery packs to other companies, kind of like what CATL does on a massive scale. BYD does it as well, but BYD, like I just showed you, makes their own vehicles. So that image I pulled up earlier, CATL, BYD, number 1 and number 2, is just mind-blowing that CATL has over 50% of the Chinese market when it comes to batteries. Svolt down here, kind of in the top 7 or so in the Chinese market. But I'm going to end it there. Mexican-made Teslas, definitely stay tuned because I'll update you guys on whatever comes out of south of the border with an announcement early in 2023. So much news coming down the hatch. Today was kind of rapid fire. Didn't really dive too much into each individual topic because I felt like just the general headlines were strong enough to carry their own. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more news coming from Kirky Cars on the electrified front. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves and peace.